Welcome back. This is video 2, and today we are learning how to make a dark rum raisin carrot cake. It's for my husband's birthday and he absolutely loves them, so we're going to go ahead and do it from scratch, and I thought you might like to know how. If you missed our first video about how to take care of and let your corn bed rest during the wintertime, or any other bed for that reason, go ahead and click the link below and we'll show you how. So the first thing I did to make our dark rum raisin cake will be to take these raisins, I put them in the dark rum, and it says for about 24 hours. I go ahead and do it for 3 or 4 days depending on how dry the raisins look, because sometimes they get a little dry. But they look really great now. Please remember, the important part is making sure that you keep your alcohol content above the raisins. And it's nice to put it in a place that's dark and cool, but remember to find it and swirl it every now and again so that you can double check and make sure your alcohol content is correct and such. And with the extra, because obviously you can see that it's gone, I like to go ahead and make myself some vanilla from scratch. I will also have a video to that in the link below. This is not going to be used today because I just started it here a week ago, and it takes about 6 months before it's going to be ready, so it'll be perfect for next birthday's cake. So now that our raisins have been prepared here for a couple of days, I go ahead and today I've set out my ingredients, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get it together. The first thing is buttermilk. I like to go ahead and make my buttermilk from scratch. Some people like to just go ahead and buy it. It's up to you what you do. But what I do is I take some heavy whipping cream and a dollop of daisy, because who doesn't like a dollop of daisy, and some lemon juice, which is the acid which combines it and allows it to turn into your buttermilk. It's most important to remember to use either a fresh lemon or 100% lemon juice, not from concentrate. That is the most important part, the not from concentrate. You want to really get the true acid, and therefore use 100% lemon. So I'm going to go ahead, put all my ingredients together, and I mixed it up, and then I let it rest for 10 to 15 minutes. The first 5 I leave it, then I stir it once, and then leave it for another 10 to 15. And that allows it to turn into that yogurt consistency that we have here. And while that is working on its 10 to 15 minutes, I go ahead and get prepared. I have my oven preheated at 325, and I take my pecans. I take all of them and roasted them on a pan for 8 minutes, and then I let them rest and completely cool. After they were cooled, that's when I went ahead and made my buttermilk. And now, after the buttermilk was made, I went back to my pecans, and I took half of it and I put it in my Mr. Coffee and turned it into a paste. It takes about 30 seconds, and it's a way to get your good nutrition in without people knowing that the nuts are in there, such as my husband, who really doesn't like the big pieces of it. It's kind of like a kid with vegetables. You want to have them eat healthy, but sometimes they don't want to. So you just puree it, put it in, and they have no idea it's there. And you win. So it's a win-win situation for both of you. So then I take the second half of the pecans, and I get them down as small as I can. But I don't want it to actually be a paste. I want it to have a little bit of texture. And while I'm waiting still for that wonderful buttermilk from scratch, I go ahead and take my carrots and take a pound of them from the garden, and first I peeled them, which is here, which my pigs are absolutely going to love, and so are the chickens. They get a lot of the scraps, and then I also take anything they can't have and put into the compost. It's really important that we're reducing and recycling and renewing what we can, especially out here on the farm. Everything that you find that is natural, that can be broke down, is great for your compost. There are different kinds of compost that you need to have. Therefore, it's important to watch those kind of videos later. There's some awesome people out there with some wonderful videos, and I'll give you some links down below if you like. give me a comment if that's what you would like me to do, is get some videos out there for composting that I do, as well as others that have inspired me. So now that we have our carrots ready, we're going to go ahead and take some coconut oil in, put it in the microwave, in a microwave safe container. I like to use my gravy bowl because it's really easy to pour, because this is a solid until you put it in the microwave for a few seconds, and then it solidifies really quick. Most recipes call for a vegetable oil. However, coconut oil is healthier and it's easier on my husband's body, and we're trying to eat healthier and do things that are good for us. And coconut oil, you really don't taste it at all, so it's a great alternative, unless of course you're allergic to coconut like my brother. So back to the next ingredient. After I have put this in the microwave, but I actually put it on defrost for 10 seconds at a time, and then I stir it with my spoon that I keep handy. And then I put pink Himalayan salt in, a tablespoon, in this so it can dissolve while I'm getting the rest of my stuff together. So after you have done all of those things, you're also going to want to make sure that you have flour, granulated white sugar, light brown sugar or dark. I like the dark, but with the dark rum, then it's fine just to have the light brown sugar. Cinnamon, baking soda, and baking powder. You may notice that most of my ingredients are already in jars. They are all labeled and dated, and anytime I get ready to seal them for a long-term storage, I like to include a little piece of material in between to act as a barrier so it's not sucked up into my sealing machine to pull the air out. If you're interested in that, there'll be a video coming up soon on how we do preserving on the farm, because this is farm to future food, so it's really important to do a lot of canning and preserving, freezing, dehydrating, and such. But we'll get into that later. For today, let's stick to the cake. Now that we know all the ingredients that are going to be included, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, I'm going to take this time and get you ready to go. So now that we're about ready to start this cake, there's one more thing that I wanted to say. Like I said, it's my husband's birthday cake, and about these carrots here. Back here you might see this chip shot in the distance. This is what brought my husband and I together. I was supposed to be a renter on the property, which we do low-income rentals here, and my husband's over working on one right now, and I'm secretly filming this because I love him very much, and he's been wanting me to do videos and to show how our garden looks, because I've been out here working for 5 years. My health has gone down. I've had a surgery, but now things are looking good. So he's really encouraging me to move forward with my business, as well as showing all of you some of the wonderful things we can do around here. For example, I made 18 varieties, not jars, varieties of jelly this summer, and it was super fun, super fantastic, and I'm excited to see what I can do next year. So the last thing I wanted to point out was this awesome little chip shot over here, because if it wasn't for the chip shot, I wouldn't probably have fell in love with my husband, because while I was over doing the rental repair where I was supposed to move in the beginning, he was over here and he made me dinner as I'm building or putting in a laminate floor in my rental, which was supposed to be my house at the time. So he made me homemade potato chips and brought them over, and it was like the hors d'oeuvre, and I was so excited. I'd never had homemade potato chips. So I just want to point out how important it was for me that I wanted to use that. It's a great memory. It's now part of the carrots, and I get to tell him, hey baby, look what I did for you. So when you see this, Richard, happy birthday, and I love you. All right, we're getting ready for our next step. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out our pans, which I have already done. And like I said, we're using coconut oil, so I went ahead and I sprayed my pans with the coconut oil. And then I took some flour and I put in the bottom and I shook it around, made sure I got all the edging. And the next thing is I'm going to take some parchment paper here, and I've cut out 3 pieces already, not round, just one to show you. And we're going to take that round and we're going to put it in the first one, like that. And it looks like that. So the way we're going to do it is I'm going to take the second one. Like I said, it already has this coconut spray and it has flour. I tapped it around and then I dumped out the excess, which isn't very much because I had 3. I could move on to the next one. Now I'm going to take my pan. That's a good catch. I'm going to take my pan. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. I'm going to take a piece of parchment paper. You notice that it rolls up easy. So if you take the side and you put it down around it on the side that rolls up, it is so much easier than trying to fight it if you have it this side up. So just so you know, make your life easier. So real quick before I cut that, I want you to also know I took my raisins with the rum that's been setting and put it into my wonderful carrots. I like to do this for about 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes before I get ready to do the cake. I mixed it all up and now I'm letting it just kind of sit here while it's waiting for me to catch up on the rest of what we're doing. So back to this piece. Now we're going to take our pan. I'm left-handed, using right-handed scissors, and this is how it works. Do my first cut into, up to the pan, and I hold myself, my thumb close to the edge so that I'm getting around the pan for the round shape. Now I'm going to have a few edges, and I have to hold it there as I get around. I'm not worried about the edges, because that'll just help it stay in the pan at the top. I sometimes, take my other hand and kind of do a little crease around the second half before I turn my pan. That way it makes it easier to find the edge without having a big lip or a lot of leftovers. So we're 3/4 of the way around. Almost done with this one. Give it a little turn. I know it seems like it would be easier just to keep on going and wing it as you go around, but you do want it to fit good, so taking the time to turn it and make sure that your cut is adequate so that it's nice, flat, round. Turn your pan over, take it, and now you take the other side and put it in. Just like before, the other side as in straight down. As it curls, that is. And you stick it in your pan, and you just take your edge of your finger and kind of go like this into the edging. That way it kind of sticks to it. And then the little extra stuff doesn't really matter. And I know you can't see that, but that's okay because trust me, it's there. And we're going to turn over the third pan. And we're going to do the same thing one more time. It's important to know that when you get ready to do the mix, we're going to want to make sure that we have equal amounts of dough. And we're going to actually measure it out before we put it in the pan, 3 pans, so that we know that we have the exact same amount so that our cakes come out the same size. Because you want your cooking time to be the same, you want your layer space to be the same also when you put your cream cheese frosting in between and on top and the sides. It's so much better when you do it that way. And then every bite is exactly the same texture, distance apart, and it's just phenomenal. All right, about 3/4 of the way around here. almost done to the edge. Perfect. Get rid of that. Move our other little paper pieces. There we go. Turn our pan over once again, and as it rolls, flat side in and against your edges, all the way around. And now it should be the entire part of your pan should have it to the edge, and you should also have a beautiful little texture. I just touched it. I was about to say you should have beautiful texture all the way around and no interference of, so that every the cake not coming out. So we're just going to go ahead real quick and drop a hair back in. Oh, where's my spoon? Excuse me. I was already done with that part, so we got rid of that one. We'll just get a new one. And I just want to touch that little spot up right there that I touched. Maybe this is actually a good thing it happened, because it's important to know what to do if you accidentally touch it, because you're still going to want to take care of it. Otherwise, your cake could stick in that one spot, and here, you know, we're trying to make a layer cake. We don't want a layer piece of cake. So now I went ahead, swished the flour, swish, swish, swish. Now I'm going to dump out the rest. Couple taps. Looks good. All right, now we can get rid of our scissors and our parchment paper. Lid back on. I'm a firm believer in that. And we are going to get ready. Next step. All right, I've gone ahead and taken another small glass bowl, taken the coconut oil that has the Himalayan salt, poured it in here. It's 1 cup, once again. Now I'm going to go ahead one last time. I'm going to give a little swirl of my beautiful homemade buttermilk and give it a tap. I like my little one, so I can just kind of hang on to it while I'm doing this. And it's okay if this mixes, because we're about to mix it all anyway. I'm going to go ahead, pour in the beautiful buttermilk. Now, put that back in there. Next up, we're going to go ahead and add our amazing vanilla. Well, this isn't Alice. This is store-bought amazing vanilla. Nonetheless, any vanilla is amazing when it's pure extract. And I do not like to pour it over what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and do this over here. Even though you can never put too much vanilla in, I think, but I would honestly say my husband begs to differ. So, it's his birthday, it's his cake, so let's go ahead and do the right amount so that he is happy. I know it looks like I'm putting a whole bunch in here, but my teaspoon was actually dirty because I used it earlier and forgot to bring it back clean. So it's in the dishwasher now. I had to use a smaller one. Just got to improvise sometimes. Alright, we had one drop that fell in there. I guess I could have let that go right into the mix. I'm going to go ahead and remove the vanilla. And now we're just going to go ahead and mix that all together. Alright, and now here we go. It's soupy, as it should be, because it's a liquid. And I'm going to go ahead and get set up, and we're going to get ready to whip up the eggs over in the KitchenAid, along with our sugar So I'll be right with you when we're ready to go. Okay, we're ready for our next step. So I went ahead and drained out the rum from the carrots and the raisins. And over here I took 5 minutes on the timer with the stove, and I whipped up the eggs and the white and brown sugar until it kind of looked kind of a milky, just pale color. And I turned it off so that you can hear me, but we're going to turn it back on here in just a moment. And I wanted to show you, this is the cloth that I took out of the fresh sugar that had been sealed. And I wanted you to also know that we're using farm fresh eggs. And I do not wash them when I pick them up from the hen. We bring them in, I put the date on them, and they go in the refrigerator. And then when we're ready to use them, we wash them right before we use them, before we crack them. And that is the best way to use your fresh eggs if they're from your farm. So the next step is going to be, you won't be able to hear me, so I'm just going to let you know now. We're going to turn the KitchenAid back on. We're going to add the rest of the liquid ingredients, which is what we already put together, our buttermilk and the oil and the vanilla, which actually have the Himalayan salt as well. So once we have that mixed up, we're going to go ahead and put the dry ingredients in, which I've already put together, which is our flour, baking soda, baking powder, and our cinnamon. They're here. I mixed it up because I just like to do that a little bit. That doesn't mean you have to. You might measure it straight into the mixer if you choose. But I like to pre-measure everything and not over my bowl. I've been known to spill things and I don't have the best eyesight. So we're going to do those, and then after we have those in, we're going to go ahead and add in our paste of pecans and the regular pecans here that are just small pieces, along with our drained carrots and raisins that were in the rum. And once we have that just blended, we just want to do it just long enough to get it mixed together. It's not a long process, probably 30 seconds or less. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and pour the mixture from the KitchenAid into my glass measuring bowl. That may seem like an extra step that wastes time. However, I would like to know exactly how many cups or cups and a half of mix that I have, so I'm able to have my equal portions as I mentioned earlier. If they're not equal, then I'm going to have different sizes, and then I can't stick to having a perfect layered cake like I'd like to do for my husband. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and let me know what you think. Because this half is actually a paste and is in between the solid and the liquid, I'm going to put it in the middle so that it mixes nicely with what we already have going on. And then I'll go ahead and get the dry mixture going. Let's see, use my spatula, my needle one, make sure I get every little corner. We are in the age of prepping. You want to use everything you can that you have that's yours already. Alright. Well, that looks pretty good. right, that's looking pretty nice. I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and drop in the dry ingredients. Notice I'm not just dumping all of it at one time. I'm probably putting in about a quarter to a third at a time. That way it doesn't poof back up at me or out of my bowl. I want it in the cake, not on the counter. Give it a little tap, make sure I get everything. Gonna give it a short time, and I'm gonna go ahead and take my spatula and scrape the sides. I'm gonna use a bigger one for this part. Go ahead and stop. Lift up. Get this off. Quick little once around in the dry, dropping it down. There we go. It's all getting into the batter now. Looks really nice, starting to smell beautiful. Close it back so it can't come up. Find my dry spot. Make sure I got all that off my edges and start a low. Excuse me while I itch my eye. Alright, there we go. Gave it a quick little whirl. Now we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our walnuts. How my knife seems to work the best to actually get the most wonderful remnants that are left on there. And they are the best part, so we'll tap that in there. Alright, set down the Cutco. Absolutely love my Cutco knives. They're ergonomic, which means they fit in either hand comfortably, and because I'm ambidextrous, or I use both hands, it's wonderful. So they got these nickel-plated rivets. While that's going, I'll show you. Blade goes all the way through the handle. It's super fantastic. I love these knives. I know I don't sell them. I don't get any perks for them. I have just had them since I was married, because that's what was given to me as my first marriage was given to me as a present. It's kind of a tradition on my dad's side of the family. I can remember Cutco knives being in every aunt and uncle's house, including my dad also, since I was a kid, because it was the gift that my grandparents gave to each of the kids when they were married. So, and my grandparents of course have them. So it's been in my family since as long as I can remember, for over 50 years. So I absolutely love them. Once again, Cutco. I also think they're called Vector Marketing, but it's Cutco. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and switch it up. Stop this for just a second. This time, I'll let it drop out. While it's dropping out, we're going to set that down actually. I'm going to use the little one. And we're going to go ahead and fluff, or just lightly get them in there. You get down to the bottom and you see that there might be a little liquid that is settled. Just keep it from going into your container, or excuse me, into the batter, and leave it in where the carrots and raisins are already sitting. Now, as you can see, I'm just kind of skimming over the top. I don't think you actually can, but I do have a little liquid in here, so I'm trying to be mindful and careful, because I don't want too much liquid. We're having a cake here. Fantastic. Alright, let's get all that yummy goodness. One little scoop here. I tell you, The time you put into this cake is going to be well worth the taste. Trust me. If it wasn't, I wouldn't waste my time every year for my husband, which we've been married for 8 years. Okay, set that down because that little tiny bit of liquor never goes to waste. I'll go ahead and clean up my mess here real fast because I don't like messes while that's going. Remember to put it down, close it. I'm going to turn it back on a second, but I just want to let you know I like to clean as I go because a clean chef, happy chef, has happy people when they're eating your food. So, no mixing of anything. Wash your hands after your eggs. All of that applies. Set that down in the garbage. All right. So, real quick, going to just do a quick little mix on that, and then we're going to go ahead and get it poured into here, find out exactly how much that we have, and then we'll be able to divide it into the 3 pans equally, pop it into the oven for 55 to 60 minutes, kind of depending. A lot of people use the toothpick method. Some people use the cake pulls away from the pan method. Some people use the push the finger method. I tend to use all 3 each time. It just seems to work for me. I can't pick one method, and because different cakes or muffins or even cupcakes have a different texture, I just use all 3 methods, and it seems to work the best. But you may have your own method, and if you have a great method, go ahead and put it in the comments below, because I'd like to know. I already used 3, why not 4? Let's get back to the cake. I'm just rubbing around the edge. Be super careful that you're not going down far enough to get where you're going to smack the actual component working. I'm just making sure everything's in there nice and mixed up for my carrots and raisins. Everything looks pretty good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop. Let it go up. I'm going to give it a second just to kind of rest. And we're going to pick this off again with the little spatula. Want to get all those carrots and any raisins that might have stuck in there. It's all part of the yummy goodness. There we go. That's looking pretty good. That. Oh, missed a little more over here. Hold on. Come on now. There you go. Alright, we're looking pretty good. I'd rather take my time and have it drip in my bowl than remove my bowl and have it drip on here. Make a bigger mess for me to clean up later. I may not like messes, but that don't mean I enjoy cleaning them up all the time. Alright, there we go. And twist it. Oop, I see another one. There we go. Okay, we're going to bring it on over. And just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and set it back down, believe it or not, in my egg dish. There we go. Not the egg dish. Alright, there we go. Much better. Now, we have our beautiful cake mixture. Just going to go ahead, get it poured into my measuring pan, or excuse me, my measuring bowl. I absolutely love this glass measuring bowl. Once again, we're scraping all around, getting all the yummy goodness transferred over. It's starting to smell good and it's not even in the oven yet. Alright. Okay. My hair on my face here. Alright, there she goes. Got it all nice and cleaned out. Now I can see how much we actually have. Alright, we have 8 cups. Beautiful. I'll wipe my hands real quick. Go ahead and set this out of the way for a minute. Those put back in a cool, dark place in just a moment here. Alright, now 3 pans, 8 cups. What I'm going to do is, I know my husband, when he gets in the house and he smells this, he's not going to want to wait till tomorrow. He's going to want it to taste. And who wouldn't? So what I'm going to do, because 8 doesn't divide into 3 easily, I'm going to go ahead and divide 3 into 6, which is 2, 4, 6, 2 cups in each one, and I'll have 2 cups left over, and I'll take that 2 cups and I'll make him some cupcakes so he can enjoy them this evening. And me too, of course. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and take a pause. Alright, back now, and pigs are not on the porch, which is always a good thing. I built a little contraption this morning so they couldn't get on the porch. They just want to come in and say hello. However, I'm trying to make a cake here, and I don't have time to say hello. So, they just have to understand that sometimes. But they are very social, and they really want a hello every day. And they can hear me in here when they're outside on their free range time. And let's see. Oh, it's 4:40 here right now. So, yeah, they're letting me know it's about 20 minutes till dinner time. Fortunately for me, I never feed at the exact same time because you never know when you're going to have an emergency or you just can't do it at that time. So I give myself an hour leeway either side of 5 o'clock. Alright, so there's a half. And 1 hour either side of the time when it's time to feed the animals so that they don't get used to it at the exact time. Tear my fence down because I didn't get there. Alright, there's 1 1/2. There's 2. And as I do the other ones, we'll let this settle, and when we get the others done, if it looks like we might need to have a little bit more, then we'll just go ahead and give everybody another 1/2 cup, and well, then my husband only gets a 1 1/2 cup, or I guess a 1/2 cup when it comes to the cupcakes. So I guess we'd only get 1 or 2, if that. But hey, the cake comes first. There we go. So there's a 1/2. And the whole. Half. there's a half. Can't wait to share the cream cheese recipe with you. It's a really good one. Oh, here comes my husband. Must be done at the rental for the day. Set for a second. We'll go back to that first one now. Usually do not use paper towels, actually. I had a problem with my hand towels, and they are not available in the moment. One, two, and three. Yeah, that looks really wonderful. We're going to go ahead and pop these in the oven for 55 to 60 minutes and go feed the pigs. Go ahead and take the rest of that and put into the cupcake batter, and then once I have that done, I'll check back with you. All right, the cakes are now out of the oven. I've done the toothpick test and taken a look, and they have definitely pullen away from the edge, and they also spring back when they're touched. So they passed all three of my tests. There was actually a leftover for 4 cupcakes, which are in the oven now. Kitchen's clean. Cakes are going to rest overnight. And then please catch tomorrow's video, which should be number 3 on how to make cream cheese frosting. However, it's going to be number 2. This is now number 1. How to make dark rum raisin carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. Since it's going to be done before I can get outside to get to my garden. As funny fact, I started this video at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Thought, oh, this is going to be fun and no problem. Snuck things out, got it ready to go. My husband didn't know what was going on. He went and did his job over on the property, on the rental, had no idea. Came back, saw me playing around in here with it, saw that I was working on the cake, went out and took care of all the animals outside for me while I continued. And, well, you might be able to see on the curtain over there, at one point it was a light. You can backtrack and check, and that was earlier in the day. And, well, it's now dark, and it's time for me to make dinner. It's about 5:30, so it's been a very long cake making day. It's never taken me that long to make a cake before, but hey, it's a learning video and a learning experience, and I hope you enjoyed how to make the dark rum raisin cake that will be finished tomorrow for my husband. So I hope you enjoyed. Number 1, if you did, go ahead, hit the likes down below, give me a thumbs up, give me some tips if there's other things you like to have in your ingredients, in your cake. If there's something you would like to see based on what we talked about today or you heard from me, just let me know. I'm very interested to be here for you because we are Farm to Future Food, SPC, and we are here to help you with your farmland, your food, your drone driving experience, to have a picture of your garden. Take a look at the website. You'll see what I mean. It's a wonderful thing. Have a great day. See you tomorrow when we make the cream cheese frosting, and that'll be happy birthday, I love you, to my husband. Give you one last up close view of the 3 cakes. that we will be layering tomorrow. Wanted to give one final shout out to Melissa K. Norris and to Petra. They are amazing. Check out their links below. Thank you. See you tomorrow.